Hello, welcome back to Spirit Speaks. I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Bernette. And thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, we hope you enjoyed this video and you'll check out the other ones. We are at Spirit Speaks on YouTube now as our name. And that's youtube.com/C/sat// Spirit Speaks. And then Spirit Speaks channel on Facebook, spiritspeakschannel.com on our website. And if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching our videos, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to us.
Button below.
And drop
Thank
a
you.
comment. Let us know what you're thinking about the videos we're posting so we know if you're liking them, if you're getting something out of them. What did it mean to you? And my website, if you want to find out more about what I do, is BernettSherman.com. And
I'm at RebeccaWashington.com.
okay, so
Yes.
we are going to get started with another channeling session.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we're going to get ready. We're going to open with a prayer. May the divine light, Source Creator, fill this space and time. May this divine light bring this moment into alignment with the divine purpose for which we are here. Let all that is said and done be done with love, truth, and understanding. So it is.
So,
And we have with us
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. You have an accent.
I am from France.
Welcome. So, can you tell us your story?
Yes, and I will admit that it is not likely that I am moving on, but I'm still going through this process because it is a learning experience for me.
So, are you saying because we've been talking to different people in the pod or the group that you've been assigned to, I thought everyone was moving forward at the same time.
Well, that was the idea, but there are measures that we must pass. There are things that we must pass to move on.
Okay.
And although I have been queued and lined up for this opportunity, there are other things I must go back and repeat. So,
Okay. So
that is fine.
what is your story?
So, I arrived here when I was 54,
Okay.
and there have been a few accidents, and I was one. I wasn't driving.
Okay.
I was not driving. I was hit by an oncoming truck. And the person who was driving, my husband, he did survive. I, however, did not because of the way the approach was. I honestly don't remember very much because I pretty much left upon impact as I understand it. But I arrived here, and I believe that based on my assessment, what I did not grasp the importance of other people.
What do you mean by that?
I grew up in a world that allowed me a great amount of opportunity, a great amount of privilege, and I generally did not associate with or interact with or have friends who did not operate in my world.
Okay.
Yes. And upon arrival, it was determined that I needed to learn some empathy and how to associate with others and how to understand that despite my position living, there is an equality in spirit. There's an equality in people that I was not necessarily better, simply different.
So do you feel that you're no longer better, but just different now?
Generally, there are a few things I still must work on, but I've come a long ways.
Okay.
I've come a long ways. My reasoning for having to repeat one module, just one, is so there's the module where we are role playing to better be able to handle the lessons that we were supposed to learn here. And one of mine was to use my privilege in a positive way to help others. That is what I came in with. When I arrived here, I did not remember that. There were opportunities that came up where I could have done that, and I chose not to. I enjoyed my lifestyle, and I enjoyed keeping my money and the money that we had.
So what kind of opportunities did you have prior to arriving here?
So there was an opportunity that I had where I was approached to help fund a school for refugees, a small school. And quite honestly, I could have probably helped with half of the startup cost. They'd done a significant amount of fundraising to raise a good deal of money towards it, but I didn't see. I decided not to because I didn't see the value of starting a school for these refugee children. Not in, and they wanted to build it in near my town, near where I was. And I was not in favor of that. It sounds so bad. I didn't want
No
that
judgment.
element. I didn't want that element near where I lived. And it wasn't necessarily around the block. It was about 7 miles away, but it was close enough that I didn't want to invite that element in. And by funding a school, that meant I was giving my okay for that to be there. I was giving my okay for these refugees to come into my home, so to speak. And that was not a popular sentiment around the people who I hung with. So my associates were not in favor of it. So there was no way that I could maintain my position and my stature and support this school. The school did not get built, not there. They perhaps moved away someplace that was more affordable and where they could have more support. But that was an opportunity that I clearly let go by and I intentionally said no to. And I could have made an impact down the line. That school having been open, it would have been hundreds, thousands of children who would have eventually matriculated, and I chose to say no because they were different. They were less than what I thought was suitable for where I lived.
So, but you were also influenced by your environment, by your colleagues.
Very much so.
So, did you have it anywhere? I mean, did you contemplate it at any point in your heart and consider it in a positive way at any point in time?
When I was initially approached, I did. But then as I thought about it, I realized it would not be a good fit for me. That was my mentality then. Here I recognize that it was my opportunity to do what I'd come to do. And that was likely the biggest opportunity I've given to charity. And even then, I gave only enough to be recognized. So that I made the appropriate donation, not nearly as much as I could have. I could have made more. But I made the appropriate amount.
But I guess I'm also seeing that if there was even a consideration in your heart, then that is still something positive that you even considered it. And I think you should give yourself credit for even the consideration.
Well, I thank you for that. However, that is not what I came to do. I came to do. And I had to learn that I did not come to consider doing for other people. With all of the resources that I had, I did not come just to consider doing for other people and to do the minimum amount, which is what I did. I did what was minimally necessary, and not from a place of giving and a place from my heart. I did it from a place of what looked good, what kept me in the right social graces.
Status.
Yes, that was what was important.
So, what have you learned, and what have you been able? How have you been able to move forward from that?
Well, I've learned, one, that money does not buy you any position here.
Okay.
It buys you nothing. In fact, if you've had money and you've abused it, misused it, not done with it what you should have and could have, it may become a hindrance here. Now, that is not to say, because I understand there's a mentality of money and evil. No, money is not evil.
Okay, thank you for saying that.
The money I had could have been used for a great good. And you don't necessarily have to give away all your money. But if you have an abundance and your cup runneth over and it's overflowing, why would you give the absolute minimum? That's what I've had to face with myself.
Okay.
And when there is great need, why would you not give it all? In the situation with that school, I went so far as not just to say I won't give you, and I had it, the balance of what you needed to fund that school and get that school seated. I gave nothing. I could have at least given books.
Mm.
And instead I pulled back, and that's greed. That's selfishness. I did it because of selfishness, because of greed, because I didn't want my friends and those who I associated with to think that I was soft on this refugee issue and these people coming into our area. So I did not give anything because I wanted nothing on the books that they could go back and say I'd given. And that's something I've had to work on here, is how to be true. Because had I not had that influence of my peers, I think I might have been a better person here.
Hmm.
But I did, and I was so connected, and my world was so built around those social constructs that I did not want to lose that. I did not want to lose my relationships and the parties and all of that came with it. And so I said no, and I gave what I had to give to the right organizations, to the right charities. Nothing controversial, nothing that others would question. It was always to the right ones. Well, the right ones often aren't the ones that really need it. They're the ones who get all the money anyways.
Exactly.
It was the ones who really needed it that we were always saying no to because they weren't proven or they were controversial. Well, you can't be proven if you don't get any money. And so I had come here to be a seed for others, and I did not. And when I had the opportunity, I did not. The money remained here, and I came here. And so I'm hoping, perhaps, with my children, that they would have seen some of what I've tried to send from my heart to them, and maybe they'll be more giving with what was left.
I hope so. And
Yes.
I hope that this message will speak to others who are um, who who are here to help and serve in the same capacity that you were here to help and serve.
And I'll say, you can have the good life. She shows me a yacht. You can have that. And you can give. It's not either or. And I've had to learn that. I'm going to finish the round I have to finish. There's some more role playing that I must do. There's some more understanding and empathy that I must develop. And there's more understanding of the value of people who are so far different from me. And I thank and if you haven't already, she came before me, the young lady from West Africa. I think her experience, because
she's on the other side of where you were.
and the refugees were coming out of Africa, and they were girls. I think about the fact that I said no, and maybe they ended up like her. I said, and then I have to face her here. She's not one of them, but she's like them. She's like them. And having to face that constantly because we're so together, and knowing that she ended up here, some other girl is probably here because of a choice that I made. Someone didn't make it because I had to hold on to money that I couldn't even take. What for? And there's still some forgiveness, clearly, that I need to work through.
Yes. Yes. Forgiveness of yourself.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So, for any colleagues, any former colleagues, anyone in your position who is blessed to have that lifestyle and fortunate enough to have that lifestyle that might hear this, what would you say to them?
Don't be selfish. Follow your true heart. When you're asked to give, follow your heart. If it makes you feel good, the idea of giving it, give it. Give it. You have a chance now to make a difference. You have a chance now to make someone else's life better. Because I know we were very harsh, we were very judgmental about what people weren't doing with their lives and what they didn't have and why they didn't go to school and why they didn't do this kind of thing or why they were working this kind of job. But at the same time, we were withholding the resources that may have given them an opportunity to go to school so that they could get the job, so that they can have the lifestyle that we thought, they were too lazy to get. No, it's not always that. It's not always that. Sometimes people just need a seed.
A helping hand.
Yes. Yes.
A hand up. Yes.
Because I realize now that, as you said, a hand up is not the same as a hand out. It's helping pull someone up. Because then when they're up, there's less need below. When people are rising up, there's less need, so that eventually you keep helping people, everyone rises up. And that way their kids aren't so needy.
Right.
And I missed that when I was here. I missed that. And I would say I hope that the people who had a life like mine won't miss that. Don't miss that opportunity to make a difference.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Jacqueline.
Thank
you. And with that, are you complete with your message?
Thank you. Thank you.
And I will allow you to step back if you're complete. May the healing rays of Source Creator be received by everyone in need. And may the healing rays of love and light be with Jacqueline on her journey to completion. We thank her for joining us. So it is.
And so it is.
Wow.
Whew.
Well,
Right.
that was really powerful.
You don't think about, or at least I hadn't thought about, people who have all these resources and even they aren't free. She was controlled, so to speak, mentally from everyone around her, her peer pressure, even then. Not feeling like she could spend her money in ways that really made a difference and where she thought might have been most helpful, but had to do what was seen as the right places. And
Yeah. True.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I see a lot of lack of freedom, people not being free with their true selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. And people not being free to speak their hearts, live what they believe, and step out and be different with a lot of control.
There's a lot of control.
Pressure.
The need to conform. It's very strong.
Yes.
Wow.
And we do it without realizing that it's being done.
Right. We grow up with it, and it becomes a way of being. You do this a certain way. You don't step out of the box.
Yeah.
Whew, I think people need to hear that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I learned something new or realized something new every time we do one of these.
Because I think we tend to look at life from our own perspective, and not consider others, where they are, how they're living, what they're dealing with. We think what we're dealing with is it, but it's not.
It's not.
And then sometimes we don't realize that what we're dealing with is, in many ways, exactly what everyone else is dealing with.
We're not so different.
We're not so different, right?
Not so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me think about, she mentioned not being able to give to certain charities or to certain causes because
they weren't proven.
They weren't proven. And she mentioned being able to, she wouldn't want anyone to be able to go back and track them and see where she'd given them money to give a hard time, which makes me think there may be an opportunity for some entrepreneurial spirit out there to make it easy for people to donate to causes that are worthy, perhaps newer, with some anonymity. Because I'm sure if she dealt with it, she's not the only one. Giving to the right causes.
To look good.
Well, let's look good and do the right causes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to do that.
And those are the ones that probably don't need it because everyone's giving to them. Yeah. And the ones who do need it with a different cause that would be doing something different just because they're new, haven't been proven, don't have a lot, can't get.
Right.
But then that's like giving to people who don't have. Well, we're not giving to you because you haven't proven to do anything. We're going to give it to those who are proving that they are doing something, yet you really can't prove that you're doing anything because you don't have enough to do anything with.
Yeah.
It's like a catch-22.
It is.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to just go with your gut and take a chance and just help someone.
Right. And I feel like in her position, she had enough resources where she could have taken a risk every now and then.
She could have taken a risk. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, she had enough resources that she could have taken a risk. But there are some of us who don't have as much resources and we still don't take the risk. We can take we can take as much risk as we can.
True, true.
You know, for where we are, you take the risk according to your means.
Right, right. That's like if you had 10% or 5% or 1% of whatever you are, whatever you're
Yeah.
at, that's your 1% or 5% or 10%,
Right.
whatever
Exactly.
that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just because she had a lot and she didn't, doesn't let us off the hook because we don't have as much as she had. We can't
Right.
say, well, you know, that was her and she had the yacht and she had this and that. No, you give what you have. You
Right.
give
You give according to your means.
according to your means.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're all on the hook.
Ooh.
We are. We're all on the hook to help.
I think you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, you guys heard that.
We are
We're all on the hook.
on the hook. We are.
All right.
Give according to what you're able to give.
And you know what? I think by the time this airs, it's going to be around, it'll be in December.
Ugh.
Perfect time.
Time of giving.
Perfect time for giving.
I
Isn't
guess
that
that's
time
why
when-
we're having this conversation.
I think so. I think so. And
yeah.
maybe you'll step out of your box
and
give to a smaller organization or one that actually needs it. And
or someone who has less than you that may not look like they're doing anything.
but sometimes paying a bill to keep your lights on is doing something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Helping someone in a small way is
Yeah.
still helping.
It is helping. And
Yeah.
and do your research. And this is just me stepping off. Do your research. A lot of big organizations that we automatically donate to. Look at how much
They don't need it.
Yeah, look how much they actually give to the causes that they are supporting. Look how much their CEOs are making, and what actually goes to the work that their mission is supposedly funding. I encourage you to check that out because you might be surprised. And you might also consider looking at the local businesses and local charities and local nonprofits in your own community and donating close to home.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And hopefully this will help you as much as it has helped us. And with that, we are going to close. But before we do, if this is your first time joining us and you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below. Greatly appreciate it.
And if you liked this video, please hit the like button.
Yes, please. Okay. And we will see you next time.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.